For SIBO, Miele, Numatic Hetty or Dyson service, you need to see Nick, the Dyson doctor, at Link's Repair Shop.
So we have a Hetty. The complaint is Hetty by Numatic. They make George, Charles, Henry, that kind of thing. Doesn't work. The complaint is does not work. So you plug it in, turn it on. Okay. So the first thing we will do is check the fuse. If the fuse has gone, it tells you there's a problem somewhere else. So don't think that just changing a fuse is going to solve the problem, because it won't. Idiot. Here we are. Continuity test. Really simple. Well, you can hear the beep. So when you've got a complete circuit, you'll hear a beep. If you don't, it's open circuit. So that fuse is good. You can hear the beep. These are not expensive, and every man should have basic tools, part of that basic toolkit. Apart from flat and Phillips and Posi and all the numbers 1, 2 and 3. By the way, when I say 1, 2 and 3, when it comes to screwdrivers, this biggest one is a number 3. This one is the smallest one, number 1. And this is the most common one, number 2. So every man needs at least a screwdriver set, flat, Posi, Phillips, and just a basic meter. These, I've got Fluke and all the good ones, but just a basic meter will do. Now this is not getting power. It can either be the 2 sets of fingers that form a contact between this that has to swivel and the motor, basically. In this one, you've got a speed card, which has always kind of confused me. Why would you need low and high power? As default, these are on low. So it could be the speed card that's the problem, or, God forbid, it's the motor. Motors on these aren't too expensive. Most jobs I do are under 100 quid. So, find the correct. These actually take Torx, which you'd call star shape. Can't see what number it is. I think this might be a 15. Take your tool, adjust the clutch somewhere near as high as it'll go. Take these 4 outside screws out, which will allow you to take the cover off. Thus, these are the fingers I speak of, which are intact. So what we'll do quickly, just to rule out, another thing that happens with these is people try and get another 5 mil of cable and they really stretch everything. If I need to get in that file, I'll show you what I mean. But what I'm doing at the moment is just to make sure we're getting power from the plug, which is connected to the socket. I hear people call these sockets plugs all the time. It's just one of those things. So you want to put your meter on AC, because this is alternating current, which is standard 50 hertz, 240 volts. You see we get 245 volts there, so we know we're getting power. We're getting power to those contact fingers. So this is fine. Next thing is, I always use another mat for these, because these contact rings must be lubricated. I use a dielectric grease, which I will find. It won't be far. Or a silicone grease, but don't use an oil-based grease. I hear people say don't use it all the time, but I'm not going to tell you to do that. Now I've just released the 3 screws underneath there, which will allow me to get this second cover off to get to the motor. But probably, and by the way, the speed card, I would have to get this cover off to get to the speed card. So what we're going to do here is nothing. So actually we're going to check the switches. So put this on. So you see what I mean? These fingers here are connected to that contact ring, so that when you spin it, the connections spin around. You can see where they spin around on that. So we'll put this on, make sure it's nice and snug. But by the way, if you see that arrow there, that is where the cable goes inside, goes around a funny route, and then is connected. Very simple connections, just a number 2 Phillips, I think, screws are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check these switches quickly. So we give it power, and be careful when you do this. You know, obviously, if you're following along, you've got a basic understanding of electricity, which means you don't touch any exposed brass contacts, because you will get a belt, which shouldn't kill you, but you know, if you have it go through your heart, it probably will. So we're going to do a test there, and we have really odd reading. So incoming is, make sure you don't short anything when you're doing this as well, because you will blow the fuse. That is 0.5 volt, but that is going to the motor. Coming from the mains connection, we have 250 volts. So we know we're getting power to that switch, which is on, and the other side we are getting 0.5 volt. It's the switch. So what I'll do is I'll change the switch, and you must be careful when it comes to switches. If you go to the wrong place, you may well get the incorrect switch. These rocker switches, you know, they could be 12 volt. This one's 20 amp, 13 amp at 240 volts AC, 20 amp at 123 volt. That's what it says there. CE approved. These are good rockers. You know, you can go and you can buy things, these really cheap, but don't buy cheap things. You know, as with all parts, as usual, I do not use cheap parts because it's bad for my reputation, and the customer will come back, and I don't want to cause people inconvenience. So I think it's a switch. So what we'll do, it's really important at this stage to disconnect the power just to be safe. I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to change the switch. So to change the switch is quite simple. You need basic tools again for the man's, you know, for Christmas. You could buy somebody a nice toolkit for Christmas. The more you spend, the better the tools. My tools have lasted 2 generations. So there's no power coming to these. So what I'm going to do is use these pliers to disconnect everything. And this switch is just straight through. So you'll get, for example, your live coming in there and your live going out there, and your neutral or return coming in there and going out there. Doesn't matter which way you connect these, but it's nice to get it the same way as the original that comes out. So pushing it this way is on, and that way, so this is on and that way is off. So we're going to change the switch. As long as you've got the correct switch and you're not using things like the tweezers that you use for your eyebrows to get things like this out. Obviously I don't use tweezers, but I do have various different types. That is a spudger. I do use different types of tweezers. Here's some tweezers. Here's some more tweezers. Here's some more tweezers. Tweezers are really handy to have in a workshop. So to get this out, you've got these. I'll show you on this one. You've got these that you just push in, and the switch will pop out. Those tabs hold the switch in place. So I'm going to push these tabs in and the switch is out like that. The new switch, turn it off, is going to go in this way. So once you've got this switch halfway in, if you can, it's good to make the connections at the back. So the two neutral or returns, and then once they're in, like that, push the switch home, make the final connections there. Okay, we have a switch, turn it off. Put your cable reel back on, connect it, and then nothing. So let's test this switch. We should have, why did we only get 0.5 volt going through that switch? Set it to, actually, we need it on continuity test, which is that. Now the switch is on. We're not getting anything through that. We're getting some through that side. So whichever side that is, live or neutral, is broken. None of them should make a circuit when it's switched off, and they don't. So we've changed the switch. Ensure that your circuit breaker is good. Yeah, we know this power. We've tested that. So I think it's the sound card. So the way I'm going to do this is, people don't usually want the sound card in there, so I'm going to wire it out of the system. So firstly, we can see that that's it, it's in. You know, you could put that in and it doesn't look like it's in, which is annoying. There we go. And that illustrates my point. You must make sure this is seated properly. It could look like it's seated, but it isn't, and it didn't make a connection. So in this case, it was the switch. If it was the sound card, that would have been a more of a complicated job, but fortunately, in this case, and remember, I undid these three. For this, torque settings are usually on this DeWalt device 7. Remember what I said in the last motor change video about not overdriving, which means put too much pressure on these screws because you'll thread them and it's a nightmare. As I said before, I get them that have been somewhere else for maintenance, and they come here and they're stripped and cause me a problem. The other thing is, you never want to, firstly, always use a bag in a Hetty. Some people think that because you've got this filter, here, because you've got that filter there, this is not actually a filter. You have the air intake there, so the vacuum is sucked in there, and I can tell that nobody has ever used this motor for moisture water, because that does kill them. You know, you'd see that motor in there would be rusty. You know, because water's got in there, it's over time when it's been stored, it's just made that rust. So you got a bag in there, good bag. You always must use a bag. Now the point is that stops the bag getting sucked up and stuck against that, which will stop the airflow to the motor. The motor will spin too fast. That's what happens when a motor can't get air. Because they've got impellers in, they work on the friction of the air to stop them spinning too quickly. If they spin too quickly, well, maybe not obviously, but they will fail quicker. So the point is, you must have a bag, you must have this in, which stops the bag getting sucked up to the air intake of that. Always use a bag in a Henry, all pneumatic machines. Don't ever think that is a filter to stop the dust and everything going through the motor, because it won't. And dust and everything going through motor is what is going to kill it. So I'm going to put this back together. As I said, the grease on here, there's quite a lot there. So all I need to do, and some of this ring wasn't coated in grease. This is the original factory grease, so just go around with your finger. Make sure everything's coated. You know, because you want those contacts to smoothly connect to that as you pull it around. And if you don't do that, it will still work, but these will, make sure it's unplugged, and just with your finger spread the grease on these contacts, because these contacts will wear out really quick if you don't grease them. It's not an issue. If the fingers are gone, which I do see quite often, I have somewhere.
The Dyson doctor says that the vast majority of time, a vacuum cleaner does not need replacement, just a service.
But I do have sets of contact fingers. It's a common thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this back together. Always make sure that your cable comes out of that little slot there. Make sure it's completely home. It's completely home, you can feel it. Next thing is, I see mist. Other places. But actually, this is when people try and do it themselves. This is mist. I haven't seen this issue before when it's been touched somewhere else. But you'll see there's a, you might call it a casting there. There's a little peg that sticks up. That must face up. So, cover on. This slides nicely into position. Perfect. And then the reverse before, the screws are usually still in. 2 of them are. Take your tool. Mine's roughly about 7. Magnetic tray to keep all your screws in, and I have different ones in case I've got different parts and motors, because they don't all take the same screws. And then you find the remaining 2 screws and put it back together. I do have lots of screws in my screw tray. Where are those 2 gone? This here. So we don't need this mat anymore. That stops the oil getting onto my lovely work mat, which, by the way, I do clean every weekend, so it's nice and fresh every Monday, nice and white and fresh. I don't want customers coming in seeing that all dirty, and because I don't care what you say, people are going to assume my mind is full of other stuff and I don't clean my workshop. In fact, I go to the extent of, and people like this, I think, I don't know anybody else that does this, but I use a new tablecloth. A new tablecloth for every job. Every machine gets its own dishcloth. Did I say tablecloth? Dishcloth. Every machine gets its own dishcloth. It doesn't matter if, and this often happens, a customer will bring in 2, sometimes 3 machines that need attention, and even though it's the same customer, every machine gets its own dishcloth. And that's just the way I roll. So this is back together. It was a bad switch. And there you go. And there are 2 types of Henry. This one is a 1200 watt. This was made before 2017. I don't know if there's a date on this. No, there isn't. Anything after 2017 will be a 620 watt, which is half the power. So if you think you're going to go out and buy a great Henry like your granny had, and you go somewhere like B&Q and you buy one, about 130 quid, and you come back and realise there's no power, or not as much power as you expect, just lift this handle up. There's a silver sticker there and it will tell you the motor power. Just one more thing. I'm going to show you about this high-low switch. So we'll turn it on standard low setting as it defaults to. So that's low, and then push it once, high, and that light comes on. Push it again to low, and then turn it off. Now that customer just wanted to see it working again, didn't want it serviced. If it was going to be a service, it'd be a lot different. But this one is fixed. That's how you fix a Henry. Well, that's one of the problems that Henrys have. There are others.
Visit the Dyson doctor, Nick Gray, Norfolk's premier Dyson specialist.